out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Really. And I have seen many times before where we visit scenes of property offences, housebreaking and so forth, and stealing. And what you notice is that the layout of the person's home, it creates that attraction. For example, they may have a window that is not properly, there's not curtains that's dark enough, it's thin. So when the light is on the inside, you can just simply stay on the outside and see straight through.
Yeah.
Realizing you have a big TV there that you're not using too often, yeah? And so that's one of the things.
What about easy access also?
Easy access.
From the outdoors, it's really access to get through that window.
Yes. And a lot of persons may think that the insect screen, and I would restate that insect screen, is a deterrent, and that it is not. And they may leave the windows up in their houses and think that insect screen would act as a deterrent, and that's not so. So the whole idea here, the concept is to really be cognizant of the reality that what may appear to be is not. And it's your responsibility as a property owner, and that amongst everybody included, because we all own property that you clearly state.
Yeah.
Maybe a watch, a cell phone, a vehicle, a house, a business place, or you may have access to properties. And it's your responsibility to put mechanism in place to create that deterrent. Right? And what I must say even to at this time that in respect to the most prevalent offenses, we have seen there's a right to certain properties, right? Which is that of engine, vessel boat engines.
Okay.
Right? And because of that, it will be imperative that I urge that person who own vessels, small boats, or you have access to use boats, that you put things in place that will safeguard you from someone coming and take that engine from you. And it might be inconvenient to you, but it might be simple. You relocate that vessel. You buy some locks or so forth that would add to your extra security and thus reduce the easy accessibility of person who wish to take them
Probably
away.
Dismantling also, if it's possible.
Yeah, if it's possible
at the time.
it's very wise, right?
Yeah.
So the engine, stealing of boat engine is one of the items, the properties that we see is being stolen regularly. Also, we see that of scooters, motorbikes, especially the Crocs motorbikes. Yeah. There's a lot of reports in recent times, regularly, really, where scooters have been stolen from properties along the roadside. We may park your bike and so forth. And we are recovering those bikes, but it will never compensate for the inconvenience, for the loss or the damages that is caused when your scooter is stolen. Because of that, likewise, I want to urge the general public to pay particular attention in respect to your scooters.
Could you say that complacency also plays a part in course in for individuals losing their personal items at times?
Well, I would say,
for example, scooters you left unattended for some reason, and you think, well, it's a scooter, nobody's going to take it. Your car left there thinking, well, we are small island Grenada, nobody's going to go into my car and want to go in. And then we see these incidents occurring, and because you think, well, the particular community that you live in, maybe you think that no one will interfere with it for some reason.
Well, I would have to say no.
Yeah.
And yes. No, in respect to a person may do necessaries. They have their scooters, especially in their property.
Yeah.
In their property, and there's certain things you can do in respect to locking the neck and so forth that adds a little extra security, but it's not. Criminals, they are adapting.
Yeah.
Right, and with that, they now learn and know how to bypass, and even without a key, they can access your scooter.
Yeah.
And they can start it and leave it without you knowing. And when you would have taken the necessary precautionary measures, ensuring that your property is properly secure. But because it's just accessible to the criminals, they know how to bypass those security features.
And they know how the operation.
Yeah, they know how the mechanical operations of those scooters. Once you know, it's scary how easy it is, it can be stolen. So because of that, we want to advise person, and people have already adapted and take the necessary approach in respect to buying additional locks that is specially made for scooters and so forth, where you can wrap it around a pole and put a padlock to it.
Store it indoors if it's possible.
If it is possible.
If it is possible.
And it may not be possible for those who have more than one who rents and who may not simply have the physical space to accommodate. your vehicle, your scooters indoors, right? So let me recap that, because it's very important that person understand what we're saying here. There is a rise in stealing offenses, and that is why we have to work with our children, our loved ones, our friends, to create that morale back in persons to understand you to respect people's property. Right, and if you are owner of these items, you need to put things in place so you can help to prevent your property from being stolen, because it is a concern and it doesn't speak well for our country when we see these type of offenses escalating in the way that they are. All
right. I mean, besides the offense of you talk about the school. What are some of these other, of course, property that you see or offenses that are caught to personal property that is more prevalent? Besides the scooters in Grenada, if I may ask.
Well, cell phones.
Yeah.
Cell phone is one of the since time immemorial have been since its existence of cell phone has been lost and stolen. Simply because we may be careless sometimes in the simple carrying and the placement and storage of our devices. And we see it a lot of times during certain seasons. And when I say that, talking about festive season, like the carnival period, Christmas is approaching shortly, and it's a good time to put us in that state of mind of being responsible of the property. So cell phones. And these things happen simply because they may have it on them while traveling public transportation, and they rest on the seat or on the lap and forget on disembarking the transportation, and in so doing, someone picks it up. And hence the reason I must interject here and put in this little part. It is the responsibility of everyone who finds any property, and there's an offense for that, and they keep it. If you find something that is not yours, you see someone leave a cell phone there, and you find it a wallet and so forth, whatever property that doesn't belongs to you.
Yeah, not always finders are keepers. No,
that's against the law.
Not always.
It is termed larceny by finding or stealing by finding. Because we have a responsibility to bring that in to the police station or even to a radio station and take the necessary action that would afford you to show that you are trying to get that property returned.
Yeah.
And certain things will follow if that person isn't collected. But the important thing here is to understand what you find as keepers is not legal. It's criminal.
Yeah. Because folks used to go over with that particular terminology. I found it, so it belongs to me.
No, that's not.
That's not legal. All right. We drew for a break. Let's take our first break. When we come back, I want to get into of course, the challenges that faces, of course, the RGPF, especially when it comes to investigating crimes of that particular nature where folks lose their personal property. What are some of the challenges you face when we do come back?
Yeah.
Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio. We're coming right back after the break. Don't touch it out.
This month,
As GBN brings you the thrilling coverage of this year's Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League, please note there will be some adjustments to our regular programming lineup. From Tuesday, September 17th to Friday, September 20th, transitions will be at 5:05 p.m. GBN Television News will air at 6 p.m., followed by a repeat right after the CPL match. And don't miss the rebroadcast of transitions after the news repeat. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere with the best in sports coverage. Stay tuned and stay informed with GBN.
the Grenada Motor Club will be hosting its second and final international drag racing event for 2024 at Pearls International Speedway on September 28th and 29th. Expect the fastest set of drag cars and bikes the Caribbean has to offer. September 27th, meet and greet at Lavo Lanes. September 28th, test and tune bracket race qualifiers. And after drags, chill out at Sizzle Bar and Lounge. September 29th, drag race finals at Pearls International Speedway. There will be a special guest appearance by one of the Caribbean's top drag racers and a special drift performance by one of the Caribbean's top drifter. Mark the dates, September 28th and 29th at Pearls International Speedway is the place to be. You don't want to miss this one.
Welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers to Classic Radio and GBN TV. Welcome back, of course, Officer Coutin with us this morning. And we're talking property crimes this morning. As I mentioned before the break, I did mention, of course, the challenges that you of course, the departments would face when it comes to, people losing the previous property that they own, and the challenges that prevail when it's been reported now. How does it some of the challenges, especially when it comes to the investigative stages of it?
Right. Challenges in property crimes.
Yes.
Right. One first need to understand that a lot of these items, property, are mass produced. Speaking about the smaller properties and so forth, even the large one too, they are mass produced. They have similar colors, same model number. It goes to vehicles too.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that may differentiate each item, which speaks to maybe a chassis number, VIN number, serial number, model number. Now, when it comes to the smaller items, when items are stolen and we recover items, one important thing is identification. And in order to properly identify, you need to be in a position to provide the information for comparison. Right? So we always urge property owners, and which would involve every one of us.
Yes.
Now, when you have properties like laptops, TVs, your machinery, equipments, your tools, even your jewelries also, you take photographs, and where there is serial number, model number, you record those and you store it in a safe place.
Yes.
You save it on your device, and you have backup where you can access it remotely in the event that same device is lost or stolen. With phones, you have your IMEI numbers. These are very important for identification, because one will say, this is my phone, and it's the same...
and 10 phones could be presented that looks alike. And
the only way we can differentiate is if there is some distinctive mark.
Yes.
You have a photograph that was taken before to able to point to that distinction. Or you may have a serial number, which obviously would be different. Right? So these are some of the challenges we have in the identification.
Yes.
The second challenge we have in respect to investigation from property owners is simply negligence. We have to be honest to ourselves. Sometimes we're just negligent in respect to the way how we keep our properties, the way how we store our properties. And some people, and you may agree with me, might simply say, well, it's my property, nobody can come and take my thing. It's mine, I do nobody nothing. And that's not the reality,
Until it occurs, you realize.
Until it occurs, then you realize, wow. And I always say that you cannot be sheep in the midst of wolves.
Yeah.
You have to be realistic. And we live in a world where not everyone may be as genuine as you and may not be as responsible as you. So you have to sometimes do things for other people. Your loved ones too. Sometimes your partner might not be responsible in locking your property, locking the house before they go. Because to them, there's no threat. They live in a peaceful community, no crime happening here.
It may not happen in 10 years.
No, but what if it does? And it will, and it does happen, in fact. So we have to be cognizant of that and think ahead. So these are two challenges, the identification and simple negligence, not taking the necessary step to properly secure your properties.
Yeah.
So that's what we face with generally investigation of property crimes.
Okay. Great.
And may I say, thirdly, timely reporting of offences or not reporting at all. That is something that's
important. It is for the timely manner in which someone reports a particular item that's been stolen. Should I do it instantly, or should I wait a day or two, or what is the advice you offer in that level?
Well, it is an undisputed fact that within the first 48 hours, it's a higher chance of recovery of items as opposed to time lapse.
Yeah.
Right? It creates a better opportunity in respect to obtaining camera footages and so forth, because we understand that certain storage may not be as large and may override in a short space of time, and even to prevent the reoccurrence of offenses. Right? We see that a lot of times that because you have not reported an offense, we are unaware, and as a result, we are not geared towards focusing our attention on a particular community.
Yes.
And that person that offender may continue operating in an area for too long undisturbed. And it is the police responsibility to intervene and cause the disruption of criminal activities.
All right. So it's always likely, as you said, the first 48 hours is always the best time to, or within that first 48 hours, the soonest time as possible. Yeah. All right. Now, I'm assuming we're in a world today where technology plays a major role in everything that everyone does these days. You understand? Technology. Now, how does the role of technology play in terms of the investigation for the RGPF, especially when it comes to property theft? How does technology play a role in that?
First of all, technology adds a deterrent approach, because when I say technology, your simple surveillance system is technology, and that in itself is a deterrent.
Yeah.
very importantly, technology would be used for the identification of suspects and the apprehension in a timely manner of those suspects. And when we say technology, it simply might be your camera, as I stated, the whole introduction of AI, artificial intelligence, the recognition of faces, vehicle numbers. If you have a camera that has that within its interface, is very important. It helps to assist with the speedy recovery or apprehension of these suspects. Right. So technology is something that I really encourage, and everyone should be, even within your devices. There's a lot of features and a lot of apps you can install on your devices that helps to locate and to track. When I say that, I mean using Google or your maps and so forth in Find Me applications and so forth. These technology and the use of these interfaces is very important. All right.
So you say you would encourage householders and the public in general to incorporate technology in their overall security on a daily basis if it's possible?
Yes. And it also help law enforcement in the data analysis.
Yes.
Right? Because as I stated a while ago, when you report a matter, soonest it puts the police in a position where they can respond and place focus in that area. And when we have technology giving us information, it helps us to analyze and to put resources in a particular place or to improve or to adapt our approach. Because as I say, times are changing and we have a lot of technological offenses also, or we say cyber offenses.
Yes.
And with that, it calls for modern approach in respect to technology and those interfaces.
All right. Mitigating those challenges you spoke about a while. How does the RGPF plan to mitigate those challenges?
Well, we have understand that education is the first thing that any solution would entail. You educate, and the RGPF take that very serious. Hence the reason we also in your face and this program and other programs that accommodate us, so we can sensitize the public, general public, in the things you need to know to be current with the state of your country. Don't say that's not my business. It's everyone's business. Crime fighting is everyone's business. So the RGPF in mitigating these issues of property crime is to educate firstly. And in so doing, we also like to, when we interact with complainants and victims, we inform them and we put them in a position where going forward they can implement certain changes and still reducing their risk of being a victim in the future, reoccurring victims. So this is mainly our approach. Education and informing persons, the do's and the don'ts, and even ourselves try to do referrals, because we are in a position where we know a lot of person respect to technology and surveillance and cameras, so we can give recommendations.
Yes.
And even when we come to your home too, we will see things and we'll tell you, here what, you need to change that lock, is not the best thing, you need to cut that hinge, the fence, you need to put a light in here, a floodlight, and to enhance visibility, and we will guide you accordingly. In so doing, all of us working together to reduce the offenses in property crimes.
All right. Now, the public plays a major role in terms of helping the RGPF from time to time in terms of of different offences that they may see in their neighborhood and occurring to themselves also. Now, how is important it is for the public and the responsibility in regards to helping to assist? How important is that?
Well, I would say not important. It is very important.
Yeah. Well, some folks may have various reasons why they may not, because someone say, well, it's not my business. It's not my business. I may be considered a snitch if I talk about what I saw happen and so forth. So, that's a level of it I'm considering my question on.
Yes. Well, you see, and this is something we try so much to remove, to eradicate that mentality of not my business.
Yeah.
Right, as stated a while ago, that when a neighbor house on fire with yours, it's everybody's business, that kind of concept. And when you understand that what may be a property crime tomorrow can be a homicide the next time.
Yes.
So when we could reduce all forms of minor offenses, it lessens the possibility of a serious crime to occur. Right? So the public responsibility here is to understand those bases. To understand that we all have a part to play, and it's all our business and it's our responsibility to report all crimes. It's our responsibility to take necessary precautionary steps in regards to security and the implementation of security measures or tactics, so we can help reduce and help save lives altogether. Because when we put a weak person, and I will say weak, faced with your bag window down, and that person is not employed, they haven't ate for the morning, they'll be forced to venture into something that ordinarily, if the opportunity was not presented, they would not have done.
I understand.
So we have a responsibility collectively, as a nation, as a community, as a people, as business owners, as property owners, to take necessary step to help reduce any opportunity for offenders to take advantage of, to reduce any way that it make easy for anyone to take our properties.
The public individuals listen to us, and the general public listeners viewers may say, they understand their responsibility. As you said, it is important. But sometimes it comes down to the point where they feel the confidentiality part of it may be lacking between them and the RGPF for some reason or the other. They may be hearing, it may not always happen, but they may hear, if I go say something, they will find out, GT did is the one that said it because of the nature of where it occurred. Probably GT's house is there, and the angle in which the particular recording was received, they could suspect it came from my house, if you understand the direction I'm going. So that part of it, what kind of advice would you like to throw out? Or maybe just let them a bit of a reassurance to the public that the confidentiality of information shared with the RGPF is kept at that level?
Well, firstly, I must say, understanding the difference between a complaint and information is very important.
Yeah.
Right? If there is something that you see, or you can provide information to the apprehension of an offender in respect to property crime, you can simply call any department, station, or someone you know within the organization, someone that you trust in respect to confidentiality, and give the information and not your details. You can say, hey, officer, you call, say, maybe the South St. George Police Station. I'm a concerned citizen. I have some information I would like to pass to you.
Yes.
Now, the officer understands that language. Okay, thank you. Take information, and you're not required unless you wish to give information for future reference.
Okay.
So that is one of the things. But I must say, too, I'm pleased to say that the issue of confidentiality has not been prevalent in recent times. Our organization pride ourselves in developing respect to the confidentiality, and we are showing the public that we treat your information very sensitive.
All right. We drew for a break. We take it. I'm still getting some calls, but we are, of course, going to take the calls in probably in our next segment. Let's take that break. When we come back, we continue with our discussion here on To The Point. We'll be right back. Don't touch it out.
Serve Grenada.
It's the event you won't want to miss. GIDC Business Deals Day is happening on Saturday, October 12th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Frequency Industrial Park playing field. Explore the latest products and service offerings from businesses within the industrial parks. Enjoy discounts on GIDC business support services and get fantastic deals on household items, building materials, accessories, condiments, and more, with exciting prizes up for grabs throughout the day. But that's not all. Dive into a mini health fair and career expo for valuable health, education, and employment opportunities, all while enjoying the sounds of Trio the Band and DJ Graphic Sounds. It will be a fun-filled day filled with eats, drinks, games, deals, and more. Mark your calendars and join the GIDC at Frequency Industrial Park playing field on Saturday, October 12th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. See you there.
Here at Concord Distributors Limited and Grenada Steelworks Limited, your local hardware store, we offer a wide variety of hardware and household items, such as roofing sheets in a variety of colors, building materials, electrical, plumbing fixtures and fittings, tiles, doors, windows, and more. Visit Concord Distributors Limited on Dusty Highway in Grand Anse, or call us today at 444-4692 or 444-1024. You can also reach us via WhatsApp on 407-1024 or visit our Facebook page, Concord Distributors Limited. Concord Distributors, the name you can trust for all your construction needs. Here at Concord Distributors Limited.
Welcome back once again. Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. And we're talking property crimes and much more here this morning, the offences and so forth. I was continuing another question I want to ask you, though, because folks may always want to know when these particular offences occur, what is the nature of the penalties that one can face? So probably there's someone to listen, probably been contemplating committing this particular offence, and not that we're encouraging, but what are some of the penalties individuals can face from by the law, I should say, if they think about committing such offences?
Right. Even before, by way of introduction, before I answer the question, one needs to understand that whenever you commit a crime, you affect lives, you affect the property owner, you inconvenience them, you cause some loss, violation of their privacy and so forth, and their comfort. And then you need to understand there's consequences for your action. You stand a chance now that you may acquire a conviction that may affect your travel, may affect your employment in the future, and might create a stigma on you, brand you in a way that that now may call you thief.
Yeah.
You know, and that is something that you have to be understanding of. That whatever you do, there's consequence and there's actions to there's always a reaction to every action that you do.
Sure.
Right? And as I stated by the first phase of for the first part of our session here, we spoke on the prevalent offenses, and that was stealing identified. Right? According to section 96(1) of the Criminal Code, right, it says that whoever steals an item, in summary, right, will be fined no more than $15,000, or you can spend up to 5 years in prison. That is just simple stealing.
It just
right. So you're talking about $15,000, or you can be serve a time of 5 years, or both. You go to prison.
And that's for basic stealing.
Yeah, basic stealing. Yeah, basic stealing. Right. And if we look at one of the other prevalent offenses, which is damage to property, you can spend up to 5 years. If we look at housebreaking, you can spend up to 15 years in prison, right? Or 5 years. 15 years of no less than 5, but no more than 15 years.
Okay.
Right? And if you do an offense as burglary, you can spend up to 30 years in prison. You know?
Right.
Or even one of the offenses we've seen and we don't like at all is robbery by violence. When you create that sense of fear because you use some violence against a person and you steal the items, you can spend up to 30 years in prison. You know? So these offenses carry penalty, fine and both confinement, and it affects you generally. All right.
So individuals knowing what these penalties are like, of course, that is a form of a deterrent also for them not wanting to commit these crimes. All right, folks, it's 435-2041, 435-2041. That's the number here on the program this morning. If you do have a question or two you want to ask, of course, the officer, feel free to do so. Let's take our first caller. Caller, good morning, and you're live.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to you, JC, and your followers, and to the police officer. I did not get his name, but I must say I am very impressed by the holistic approach he's taking to preventing and solving crimes. He spoke about the morality, about theft, and how petty theft can lead to burglary and other things. And that's what we have to look at. Now, how could you explain, for instance, someone passing by, they look on your tree, they see one mango, not two, one. You are there, you have a family, you have appetite, and they'll ask you for the one mango. It may sound very simple and petty, but the morality, how would somebody find that they see you with one thing on your property and they feel that they can have it? To me, this is immoral. You may say, well, if I saw 5 or 6 or there's some on the ground, I tell the person, oh, let me take a couple, can I have 2? But you say they have 1. So it just shows you that lack of respect for private property. You see, with one thing, they feel they could have it. And many times, sometimes they can't even reach it. And they want you to give them access to it, assist them in getting it. So it tells us that we have gone a long way from respecting what belongs to somebody and what doesn't belong to us, and the desire for having what doesn't belong. And to me, this is the root cause of the petty thefts, that escalate later on into robbery and armed robbery. Because I always say the person who would look at you in your eye and ask you for your only thing, imagine what they will do if you are not there, or even meet you somewhere where no one else is looking. So it does change, and the morality, the cause of it, the root cause should be addressed. And I appreciate and I admire that holistic approach you're taking, officer. Good luck. I think you'll get very far. God bless
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. And I get that the direction the caller is going. Someone watching your stuff and saying, well, I want it and feel, well, you should give them access to it.
Yes,
and then it leads to where, no, because you may not allow them, they think, well, maybe I should take it up on my own to just go take it.
Yes. And in fact, too, I have seen persons they may ask you for your property, and you may say to them, oh, no, I can't give it to you, and they're upset with you. They want to curse you after, and they feel like they're obligated to have what you have. And with respect to previous last year, we have seen an increase, 3% increase compared to last year. The same period of January to June, there's a 3% increase of previous last year offences. And that is something it really hurt the heart of farmers. Even you have your little kitchen garden, and you're looking forward to reap what you have sold, and
wake up in the morning, everything is gone.
And sometimes they damage it too. You damage other crops because they do not care, no respect to people's property.
All right, we do have another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome, and you're live.
Yes, good morning. I had a question about the theft by finding principle that your guest spoke about. So I guess the idea of finders keepers is not correct. And I'm assuming that there is a legal obligation, not a moral obligation, to make a good faith effort to try to find the owners of things that we have found. That's what I'm assuming. Hopefully the guest can clarify. And then if so, what safeguards do we have in place to ensure that if, for example, you take this to the police and you said, look, I found this, a phone, and the police then make an effort to find, a good faith effort to find the owner. If they don't find the owner, what happens? Who keeps it at that point? And how do we know, how is there accountability for the police to say, we found such and such and here is such and such, so you know that the person has been found, or we have not found such and such. So therefore, at what point does it belong to the person who found it? Or if so, what does the police do with it? So I'd like to find out some more about that. And then he spoke about how important it is to report theft within the first 48 hours to increase the ability to find and not lose evidence. But there are times when you report these thefts and the investigation is not done in a timely manner. So the police have to do their part. I have a family member who reported a theft, and the police finally consulted her a month later to get the information all over again. By then, memories are lost, evidence is tampered with, camera footage is gone. So the police has to do their part. There's no point in us reporting it, and it's being sat upon, and we are not having prompt investigation. We have to be taken seriously by the police. And there's a lot of cases where you go into the police station and they are lazy to investigate, and they see people coming into the police station as being a menace and disturbing their ability to sit and chit-chat and do nothing at the police station. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. I respond to the caller in terms of the...
Yes, so caller, I must say your point is very valid and very important, because one of our responsibility at the Criminal Investigation Department is to give guidance and to ensure that reports that are made to stations are dealt with in a timely manner, and professionalism is adhered to by all means. Right, and in respect to property, yes, it is an offense if you find something and you keep it. But if you turn it in, which you're supposed to, then we would make all efforts, and it's the responsibility of the police to make proper feedback, to give that person who took that great step in reporting or bringing in that item, to give them feedback to let them know, in fact, if the property is found or not. Yeah. And there's a time period.
The property owner is found or not.
Yeah, if the property owner and items recovered return to that owner. So here what I advise to the caller in respect to the further information. You can call at our office at CID, that is 440-3921, or any station closest to you. and we will provide you with the additional information in respect to what's supposed to happen after that property is turned in.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because technically, it doesn't belong to you anyway.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't belong.
And that is the concept.
You understand? It doesn't be so. It's not that the police could say, well, you didn't find the owner, so we give it to you. They can't do that anyway.
Well, there's certain things that speaks to that, but we explain that at...
All right.
Yeah.
We do have another caller. Caller, welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Good program. The gentleman, I assume he's a police officer, spoke about confidentiality. That is critical, okay? I know members of the public, close friends would have given information about certain activities to the police, and the offender was able to get to know who called his name, etc., etc. All the police officers are not like that, but this is a sensitive and serious area where the public is intimidated because you saying X did that, and especially if there is irrefutable evidence to substantiate the allegations, that person or his family lives can be in danger. I think this is an area they need to seriously look at. And finally, for the offenses, I think the legislators need to review some of the laws. I think some of them are too weak. While imprisonment might not be a deterrent, long imprisonment has its positive impact and effect on the offender. Thanks very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Right. So thank you, caller, again. For the benefit of those who are listening and viewing, yes, I am Kimber Kutin, Corporal of Police, attached to the Criminal Investigation Department, right? So in respect to the caller's last point of confidentiality, that is something that we are more and more emphasizing on. And we take very serious if a person does not take that approach in respecting information. We address it, it will be dealt with. Because we understand the sensitiveness of it. But caller, you also need to understand that if you give a complaint, that we must inform, when doing our investigation, the accused person who made the complaint. Yeah. And as a result, an action needs to be taken. That is separate from that of information, where we do not need to know who you are.
Yeah, right.
But if something involving you, and let's say someone broke into your home, or they stole something, right? We need to address that. Yeah. And to let them know who's the property that has been violated. As a result, the information needs to be exchanged, because they need to know what the accusation is about, especially when the matter has to taken to court.
I mean, that's understandable to a point. If I come to complain that someone stole something from me, and of course I have made a complaint about a particular individual, you have to say, well, GT did say, well, you stole his property, other than just saying, well, we heard you stole someone's property. You have to make them identify the individual making the complaint from that point. 435-2041, 435-2041. Someone asking a question here via WhatsApp. I think we may have answered it. They was asking what about produce being stolen from farms and so forth. I'm not sure if you want to respond to that in any way. It was just a simple question.
Well, yes, and as stated,
let's go across the pre-deal larceny part.
Yeah, and it falls under stealing also. And there's a whole act that speaks to pre-deal larceny, and there is a task force that is in operation that address these issues. And I can assure you, the magistrates, they take these matters very serious, because we understand the efforts and the importance of our farmers. And by no means, no one should just go into your land and just pick in your sauce up and go sell by the road because they feel they have a lot. You know, they need to respect you, and they understand that if they do that, there is consequence that we, the police, will not hesitate to address.
All right. And someone is asking a question. We did answer it already to a point. Someone saying someone carries something to the police and no one claims it. I get this. We did refer to that.
Yes. But there is a period that speaks to when it's in police station, what needs to happen afterwards that will involve you. Yeah. But I will not say this over here. I advise that you come into our department, and when these things happen, we're going to inform you. And then it's your responsibility to follow up. Yeah. Right? And I must draw reference to one of the callers. They spoke on the issue of timely investigation. God forbid these things happen, it does, and something that we recognize, but we're trying to reduce these issues of not timely investigation being conducted. And if it happens, you need to get onto the officer in charge of your department and share your concern, because you need to show interest. And if an officer fails to do what is necessary, it needs to be taken over by someone else, or attention needs to be given to it. Because we understand that if you lose something, you want to know what happened, and you need to know the stage of investigation. And it's our responsibility as police officer to satisfy you and serve you, because that is our role and responsibility. And if we lack, bring it to our attention and let me make the necessary adjustments. Okay. So I apologize for experiencing that.
All right. Caller via WhatsApp, good morning, and you're live.
Yeah, good morning. How you doing?
Not too bad. Go right ahead, please.
You know something? Policing, I'm not knocking the police because of anything. I have family member that is police. Policing in Grenada have become very weak. Let's put it that way. Very, very weak. And I'll tell you something. I've seen in the market square, that's this carnival gone there, 2 police trying to apprehend a guy in the market, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And you wonder why. That never has happened. When a police tell you stop, you stop. But policing, as you say, what I realize, they want to be friends with this guy, they hang out with them, they drink with them, and this and next day when they do something in town, that this guy gonna say to himself, well, me and Sergeant John does drink, and that once he says that's a problem. And they don't understand this is because this is the same exact problem is the way it started in Trinidad and in place. That's why they can put hands on it and it go wide until they cannot control it. You know what I'm saying? And next thing I can understand in Grenada, you kill a man, you get 4 years. You rob a place, you get 30 years. How would that work? Yeah? A guy who chop out a guy and he get 2 years and he outside drinking and having fun. How this work? I don't understand. I want somebody to explain these things to me. Policing in Grenada have become too lackadaisical. You know what I'm saying? You're just on the job. You're not doing anything. We're living in a world of 2024 with technology and all this kind of thing, and all this sitting back and rest. I went in the police station to get a license, and they relaxed. One of the police had to tell the girl, one of the officers, could you help this man? But she just sit down there chatting. I don't understand. Good morning.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your concerns here this morning. Any response?
Right. So, I must respond to caller. Thank you very much for your concern. I can hear the passion in your voice. And so to speak, have passion. Yeah. It shows that what you say have meaning. And it's something that we as police officers need to take in consideration and make a necessary adjustment. You asked for an explanation with respect to the offences. I spoke to robbery violence being 30 years maximum. The magistrate have guidelines and have the discretion in which they choose the sentences. There are a lot of mitigating factors to be considered, a lot of aggravating factors that have to be spoken about and dealt with in respect to determining what sentence a person gets. Murder, you said, something get 5 years, but murder maximum could be life in prison. Right? So it had to be on case basis and the determination of the magistrate or judge in respect to these sentences. Right? So there's a lot of determining factors just to be simple. Right? And to contrary to the opinion you said about police officer, I must say that there's a lot that our men and women of the RGPF are doing, and in comparison to other countries, we are well. The time and effort we place in our people in service is really excellent. On opinion, different person may share with you. And when you look at solving rates and our apprehensions and generally policing is really commendable, right? So you may not be aware of it, but there's a lot of police doing in the community, going out there, doing programs, reaching out to people. So we will increase on the areas that we're lacking. So we thank you for that, but we will continue to serve and increase our ability in doing so. All right. We do have another caller. Good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning. I'm following up on what the other person just said, that the police, they are fraternizing too much with the public. And we're not saying that you are not civilians, but they seem to not know how to separate their role as civilians to police. Once they have on the badge, they have an oath and a pledge to serve fairly without bias. So when you're drinking, when your friends come in and somebody come and report about your friend or your family member, you have to take off that civilian clothes you have. You are police. Drinking with sergeant this and drinking with corporal this, that is a problem because people will call out the names of the police. And then you feel, why bother to go to the police station? Because they're letting you know the police is their friend. And in fact, when you do go, the police shows bias and prejudice and bully people who come in to complain about people that they know. So we do, your guest just say that you are excellent compared to the world and compared to other stations. So to make such a superlative statement that requires extensive study, you cannot say your police is you cannot compare them to many unless it has been done properly in order to make a comparison to say they are excellent compared to others. You don't know what the others are doing to be able to say yours is the best. Because I walk into police station and see them with a big tub of KFC on the front desk eating KFC with greasy hands, and they pick up the greasy pen to write your report with KFC on their hands. So the police station, it is lacking in professionalism. And I know you is one, and I know it is natural to defend them, but they are lacking. They are lacking in fairness, in lack of bias. They are prejudiced, and they do not render fair judgment and investigation and advice. And another thing, they like to give legal advice. Police is not lawyer. Your role is to investigate and present it to the DPP for legal service. They need to know it is illegal to give legal advice. Police is police. Stay away from giving legal advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you, caller, for your contribution.
All right. I have one question from someone. It may not be under the direction of our conversation this morning, but they're asking the question. Someone is saying they're a family home and family are bringing all kinds of persons to just live in. How do they approach just a situation of that nature? They're asking that question.
Come again?
They're saying, well, they have a family home and other family members are bringing different individuals to the house. I'm assuming I'm just breaking it down a wee bit.
Yes.
And how do you approach a situation of that nature? Maybe in terms of coming to the police in reference to it in terms of...
Yeah, it would be important. A case like that, you come to the police and you give us information and then we may assess it, respond with you. If there's a need where we have to do any orders or warnings or criminal offense that we need to address, we will. But come to us and let we understand the details of that.
All right. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning, you're live. We lost that caller, 435-2041. We just have a couple more minutes left on today's program. It's to the point. We, of course, have Officer Coutin with us this morning. And we're talking property crimes. That was our basic conversation this morning. When sometimes we get deviated a little bit, but certainly do understand that. 435-2041. If you do have a question or two, feel free to do so. Caller, good morning, and you're live.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, well, something I find about the police. The police right now, the police is very politicized. Very, very, very. NNP police and NDC police. And I think this should never be in the Royal Police Force. I wish they could put their house in order and leave people stop see what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. That's not the nature of our conversation this morning, but certainly we do understand that. As I mentioned, folks, we talking the property crime this morning. So if you do have a question that relates to a crime that may have occurred to your property or so, or you may have lost something, and you need some clarification on the way forward, you can feel free to ask questions on that level with folks. 435-2041. We have approximately 4 more minutes left.
Yes.
Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning, and you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How you doing? Good morning to the officer.
Good morning.
The caller that made that point about police get covered, I believe it's true. Because that incident in Roseville Junction, where that individual find gunshot in the air, you had about 6 police officers there in the crowd. And they still wait on Saturday police to come to apprehend the young man. There are 6 policemen in the crowd, sit down there drinking, and a man find bullet in the air, and nobody moving. Nobody seemed to hide from people's phones. So I do believe that they get covered. The second point I want to make is that when a young woman comes in the station to make a report about maybe the domestic violence or somebody takes something of ours, you always find out that the officer on the desk and that young woman have a relationship after. There is a punishment for that policeman taking that young woman and vulnerability and making a move on and compromising the whole case. There's a punishment for that, for the office.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if you want to respond.
All right, so keeping in context with our topic today, property crime. We speak in property crime, the states of our country in respect to the prevalent offenses, consequence, technology, challenges, the way forward, and how we can help reduce collectively these occurring offenses of property crimes. So this is our subject.
And that's what we're trying to keep it on. I did mention a while ago, of course, I hope for, of course, our listeners of you could keep the subject matter. That's, of course, post question that relates to that. And we may be able to entertain our final caller for the morning. Caller, good morning, and you're live.
Yes, officer. The man asked if a lady coming to make a report and we have impropriety behavior by the police officer, this compromises the investigation of any crime, including property crime. And you didn't answer, and you evade the question. It's a valid question. When a woman go in to make a report of the property crime, it is not an opportunity for the policeman to pick up a woman, and you avoid it. So you're supposed to say yes, they're supposed to do their job. They're not there to become friends and have relationships with females coming in. It is an important thing he said, is that it compromises the investigation of the property crime. And instead of that, you say, let's stick to the subject. It is part of the subject if the investigation is compromised when the police officer...
All right, caller, thank you so much. And we certainly have gotten, of course, your point. I'm not sure if you want to respond to it.
Let me respond. So, caller, you are correct. You are correct in respect to things that may interfere with investigation. All right, and I guess come out of this a lot this morning, we understand the importance of police officers being professional in so doing, being able to properly assist and to respond to complaints in respect to property crimes. So you are correct, caller. Thank you for the contribution.
All right. And we just have about 2 minutes before we take a wrap. Let's just take our final caller, and certainly hope this caller, of course, caller, good morning, you're live, and be brief, please. You will be our final caller for the morning.
Good morning. We have a problem where people keep tying animals on our property, and sometimes we have good plants that are growing, and they're tying their goats, and eating up all your things that are growing. And we tell them about it, that they don't make a difference. I think that's very unfair. People have to buy plants, and then, other people just tying the animals, 3, 4, 5 goats, So that's the problem that we have.
Caller, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. Officer Good, we're getting set to take a wrap. Of course, I don't know if you have any closing contribution before we take a wrap this morning.
Right, so let me do that quickly. In response to the last caller, that I understand can be very frustrating. We have a department unit, a pre-larceny department that deals with those issues. You should try to reach out to your pre-larceny task force at the nearest station to you, because it's damn sure your crops, all your crops, plants have value, and people need to respect that. So in closing, I'd like to say that it's very important that us understand that we need to work together, and the police needs to understand also that we serve you, and you need to work with the police so we can work collectively in the reduction of any offense in our tri-island state, but more so in respect to property crimes. Thank you.
All right. Officer Good, once again, thank you for being here this morning. Hope to have you back again, and all the best for the rest of the day.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, folks, that's we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point for today, Thursday, the 19th of September. Have a good one, folks. That's what we say goodbye.